Hey all, welcome back to the 5 Minutes or So Daily Marketing Podcast. I'm Jacob Smith.
And I'm Casey Bonebreak.
Today we're here with Darrah Brustein, a world-renowned entrepreneur, journalist, blogger, and podcaster. Thanks so much for being on our show, Darrah.
Thanks for having me.
Can you introduce yourself real quick for our audience?
I'll do my best. So I'm a multi-time founder. I've started 4 different companies over the last 11 years. The first being a credit card processing company that I started with my twin brother in 2009 that we subsequently, through many ups and downs, built into 38 states. Next up was a networking events company that I have built to about 30,000 people, and then a children's financial literacy book in the wake of the 2008 recession. And most recently have converted a lot of those learnings and experiences into helping people through coaching and content creation to design their lives on their own terms, build businesses to fund those lives and not consume it, and networks to support it and open the right doors.
Well, that's amazing. So it's great to have you on this podcast. And the format for what we're going to do today is we're going to ask you 3 questions that are centered around journalism and content creation. And you're going to have about 60 seconds for each question. So are you ready?
It's like a lightning round. Yes.
Yes. All right. So question 1.
You've interviewed some of the world's most influential people, athletes, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and more. Do you have any advice for reaching out to and making an impression on high-profile people?
Absolutely. So I think number 1 is try to not have to reach out directly. Try to be a connector in your own life and a generous person who builds a reputation as someone that people feel no qualms or reservations about making introductions for you to the people whom they trust, especially when they're people with a lot of people seeking their attention and their time, like the people I've worked with, like Shaq and Deepak and Robert Herjavec and Jillian Michaels, and the list goes on. So 1, it's building your own relationships to a place where people will effortlessly open the doors for you and just being that giver. And then 2 would be, if you're in an environment where you don't have those relationships yet, it's find ways that you can do those same things for the people or the person that you're looking to connect with. So let's say that person is speaking at an event where you're participating. Ask a tremendous question. Make them remember you, stand out. If you're going to stand in line to try and talk to them later, don't be seeking something for yourself. Find a way to have done your homework and understand what something you have in your resource pool, time is up, will benefit them in some way.
That's definitely a great answer. I really like thinking about that stuff because most people don't actually know how to approach something, and you definitely do. You've interviewed such great people. So question 2. Well, on your blog, you have this writing voice. It's completely your own. I love it. You write in a way that's super down to earth, and the lack of capital letters is a really interesting touch. I love it. So how'd you go about finding your voice, and how can other people go about finding theirs?
There's a lot of things that I have come to find about finding your own voice in writing, whether it's blogs, social media posts, emails, web copy, articles, or whatever it is. 1 is write like you talk. You may from there begin to edit it because you'll realize some of the colloquialisms that you might say verbally won't translate in the same way on paper, but start there and don't try to be something that you're not. It's really great to admire other people's writing styles, but don't try to mimic it. Maybe you can take pieces and adapt them in a way that works for you, but ultimately you have to start with being who you are initially, and then take out all of the naysaying voices in your head that might make you think, oh, am I alienating this audience or that audience? Or what if people don't like it? Or what if it doesn't feel like XYZ? Because none of that's going to help you. And ultimately, this is a really standard writing prompt is think of one person who is the target audience member and write exclusively to that person in your mind.
I love that. Write like you talk is a very great tip to give people. I like that a lot.
Question number 3 is kind of on a different note. After spending 10 years building that credit card processing company, you described yourself as overworked and burnt out. Today, you're an advocate for people creating businesses to fit their lifestyle and not the other way around. Since many of our listeners are startup founders, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs trying to balance their business and ideal lifestyle?
Well, number 1 is you have to know what is your why, what is your ideal lifestyle in the first place. What I tend to find is that we do it backwards. We build the business and then realize that our life has been entirely consumed. And then we wonder how we can dig out of that, or we just settle and assume that this is what it's like to be an entrepreneur. as opposed to saying, well, what is it that I truly want? And starting from that place to then reverse engineer how your business can help get you there by even putting dollar volumes next to what it costs to live the life that you want. Because not only will that help you make sure that your business can get you there strategically, but it'll also help you understand that oftentimes the life that we want is way less expensive than we think in the first place. So starting there. And then number two, it's making sure you're carving out and prioritizing your own boundaries. So saying no to the stuff that isn't aligned, not being afraid to do that in the first place, carving out time on your calendar for all the different things that you value, which means you also have to know what you value in the first place to make sure that you're living in alignment with that.
Awesome. Well, Darrah, you have passed the lightning round. Good job.
Thank you.
At the end of every show, we like to give our guests a shameless plug where you can share your website, something you're working on, or anything that you think our audience can take advantage of. So,
go ahead. You're going to let me plug. So I was going to say the plug is actually an offering to everyone else that if you head to my website, it's Darrah, DARAH.co/freebies. We've got oodles of free stuff on there where it's going to help you, especially as an entrepreneur, whether it's a free guided visualization to help you get unstuck and seek more clarity in your life, or a masterclass with Deepak Chopra on how to get anything you want in your life, or something more tangible like the shit no one tells you about starting a business if you're looking for a little camaraderie, or 21 stress relieving financial tips. There's so much stuff in there that's wonderful for anyone who's looking to grow their business and grow themselves.
Absolutely. Well, it was so great to talk to you. Everybody, please go check out Darrah if you haven't heard of her already, which I don't know how you couldn't have. Definitely check out her website, like she said.
all right, y'all, that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you for sticking with us and tuning in. Real quick, if you liked today's episode, we'd love it if you subbed to the podcast wherever you're listening to it, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. To get in touch with us and find more content, you can visit our website, which is nestled right there in the show notes. Have a great day, y'all. And as always, good luck and good marketing.